Hey, you, I was thinking about you. And you know what I was thinking? I'm thinking a lot of people think they're free because they moved on. But moving on doesn't mean that you've healed. And if you're still triggered, still shrinking, still doubting, you're tethered. And it is time to get free. Let me take you back to the day of that balloon ride. We were like 30 to 50 feet in the air, and there was like a feeling of weightlessness. I looked, and the things that were large while we were right next to them, now they looked smaller. Now, we weren't soaring, we weren't high in the sky, but we were hovering. We were hovering above the ground, and we could still talk to the people on the ground, but we needed to shout, to reach them. And I realized that while I was enjoying this simulated flight, we weren't yet taken off. And a lot of times we live that way in life. People live that way in life. Like, you may feel like you've moved on. You may feel like because you walked away, because you don't talk about it, because you avoid it, you don't deal with it, that you really have grown past it and grown through it. But just like me being in that balloon, I enjoyed the feeling of being in flight, but there was something I couldn't see. It was strong, and it had me tied to the ground, and it was the tether. And just like that balloon, a lot of us live that way. We're elevated, but we haven't really escaped. Listen, you don't need a new job or a new title. You need to deal with what might still be holding on to your ankles. So let's talk about what tethered looks like in real life. According to Psychology Today, trauma creates emotional belief systems that override the truth. Now, I know that it's normal for our brain to try to make sense of things that are happening, things that are going on around us. But the National Center for PTSD reports that unresolved trauma affects how we respond to stress, what we do in trust situations, and how we even process success. Like, think about that. Unresolved trauma can impact how you process success. Think about somebody that you know that is great, and it's hard for them to even celebrate themselves. It's hard for them to even fathom that they're good enough. There may be an unresolved underlying trauma that they've never really healed from. And so I know that our brain does something normal called meaning making. And that means, like, when things happen, it is constantly trying to make sense of all of the information that it receives, and it tries to make sense of it. Now, think about that. If somebody experienced a trauma, if somebody went through something that was traumatic, especially in childhood, where it does not make sense, the person that was supposed to love them didn't, they treated them in a different way. Things that were supposed to be maybe in normal households weren't that way for them, but that's all they knew. So their brain is trying to make sense. And it's normal for our brains to always try to make sense of situations and circumstances. But what happens if there's an absence of real truth? Then the brain makes something up that the traumatized child believes, ingests, indoctrinates, becomes, lives in, unless their trauma gets resolved. So how many people do you think are walking around with what their 8-year-old self defined as real love, but they were traumatized, or defined as trust, or good, healthy relationships, good, healthy communication, because that's what their brain told them. Their brain gave them a definition, but it was in the absence of truth. How many times have you realized that something that you thought you were over years ago, you ran into something and it triggered you? It caused you to remember. It caused you to almost catapult back there. So you can change your job, you can change your scenery, you can change your hair, you can change your friends. But if you don't deal with the tether, if there's a tether, you're just hovering in pain. How many of you can admit that maybe you're just hovering in pain? I want to ask you a question. You've moved on, but have you healed? I hear it. I hear it a lot. People say, well, I don't know. This is just how I've always been. This is just me, right? So I have a couple of things for you to think through that might be a sign that you're still tethered. You replay old conversations as if they're happening now. Now, this is how our brain works, though, when it's functioning in a healthy capacity. So, like, think about it. You can think about your grandma's biscuits from when you were 8, what it smelled like in the kitchen, running through a field, a happy summer memory. You could hear the creek when you were fishing. You could smell the water. You can remember your favorite vacation, and your brain will bring it back to you. And it's almost as if you're there. You'll find yourself smiling. You'll find yourself kind of taking a deep breath, and it's almost like you're back there. That is how our brain works. Now, think about something where you might not be fully healed from. Do you allow those memories, those conversations to replay? And do you find yourself tensing back up? Do you find yourself grimacing? Do people catch you in a moment where you're thinking about it and say, hey, what's wrong? Because your face or your body language is somehow showing the stress, the strain, the trauma, the fear, the anger, the frustration that you were feeling back then. That might be a sign that you're still tethered. Or you shrink, or you're silent in rooms where you really should be leading. Might be a sign that you're still tethered. You could have gotten your hand smacked before when you tried to venture out, or you could have had a distorted thought about an opportunity when you tried it and it didn't work. You could be tethered to a time where it failed, tethered when a time when you were ridiculed, tethered when you were in a toxic environment that did not lend itself to you opening yourself up and sharing your ideas. So that's a sign you may still be tethered. Or how about this? You still feel guilty about something that you've already apologized for. I know. And your first kind of reflex is to say, but it was so bad and you don't understand. I get it. But if you have apologized, if you have done your due diligence, you have spoken with the person, you've done all that you can't take it back. You should not allow your emotions to take you back to guilt and make you repay for something you've already atoned for. Right? It's the illusion of elevation. We are here, we are free. You look free, but your past still has access. And you're like, well, it doesn't happen that much. If your past still has the ability to take you back to emotions that don't serve you, to feelings that don't serve you, to behaviors that stifle and cripple you, then it's not a healthy visit back down memory lane. You're probably still tethered and you need to break free. An article in Harvard Business Review said that unresolved internal stress and unprocessed emotion are leading barriers to leadership performance. I mean, it's one thing to, have something happen on your way to work and you're all emotional, but think about something that's 20 years in your past, 10 years in your past, still keeping you from being a top performer. That's the science of stuck. That is how it happens. If we fail to deal with traumatic or events that damaged us and we don't heal, it shows up later. You just don't realize that it's the culprit. Even Johns Hopkins has a study that linked prolonged trauma responses to unforgiveness. I know. I know. There's even a song about it. I'm willing to forgive you, but I won't forget. For us to allow our brain to keep bringing up something and not to forgive or to release the person, it's been linked to heart disease, autoimmune disorders, anxiety, and burnout. So nobody signs up for, oh, I'll take the heart disease for 800, Alex. Nobody signs up for that. Nobody signs up for autoimmune disease. Nobody says, oh, give me the anxiety package. Nobody does that intentionally. But sometimes there are some things that are done to us. There are some things that are said to us. There are some situations and circumstances that happen to us that are unfortunate. They are terrible. They are traumatic. And we have to forgive. We have to release. Not because they deserve our forgiveness, not because they were right. And let me help you with that. Forgiving somebody does not say that you agree to what they did. It says, I agree that I have held on to this long enough. I agree that it is hurting me to hold it inside. I agree that we don't have to be besties. I agree that I don't have to be there and allow you to hurt me again. But I agree that I am no longer going to carry this hurt, this trauma, this wound into my future because it's a part of my past. And the more quick and rapid I am able to let it go, the faster I can heal. Because I don't want heart disease because of unforgiveness. I don't want autoimmune disease or anxiety because of unforgiveness. So, I mean, they said it. Elsa and Anna told us, let it go, let it go. And I know it's easier said than done, but I am a person of faith and I pray. So I pray and I say, hey, God, I can't get over this. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do with the thing that you need to let go? And it's really hurting you. Like, you not forgiving the person doesn't hurt them. It hurts you because you're taking up mental space, mental energy, and your body is releasing all kinds of chemicals because of the negativity that continues to swirl in your system. Go ahead and let it go and work on it. The good news is that our bodies also work in reverse. So forgiveness and healing are tied to improved immune function, better sleep, better blood pressure, mood, and productivity. When you let things go, when you forgive, when you release, it's tied, according to this Johns Hopkins article and research, that you get better when you forgive. You feel better when you forgive. So how about it? Are you ready to increase your mood, increase your productivity in order to release and let it go? Is there anybody that, to be honest, if you're honest, that there are some things that you haven't visited in a while, but if it comes up, if you run into them, if someone mentions it, it brings up a sore spot, a scab. It's like a scab. And you don't want to pick at it. But I want you to know that if you were looking for a message for you to get healed, to get release, this is it. Consider this your sign. It's time to let go of the weight. It's not always the weight that holds you down. Sometimes it's the rope that just needs to be cut. It's time for you to cut the rope. I want you, I get it. And I can kind of hear you thinking almost like, because it's a natural response. Like, I've been living with this my whole life. I am a master compartmentalizer. It's like, I've got it back there. It's in this locked door. I don't really bring it out at work. I let my hair down when I get home. But listen, what you don't understand is it takes mental energy to lock it in that door, to lock it in that storage, because associated with that are norms and rules that you've put in place to protect yourself so you never get hurt like that again. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot. So there you are at work trying to perform as if that big skeleton is not in your closet or that big elephant is not in your back room. I want you to know that it is time for you to open the door. It's time for you to open the closet. It is time for you to deal with the very thing that's holding you back, because even though you think it's not, it's still there. So This is how, if you let me coach you, I want you to be able to name your tether. And you may or may not know what it is right now, but I don't mean name it and let it become your pet. I mean, let's identify what it is. Let's poke the bear, because the bear needs to be tamed and healed and you need to move on. So ask yourself these questions. What moment still has emotional power over me? Think about it. People say, oh, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. That is an incomplete truth. It's barely true. If it didn't kill you and you got healed from its effects, then it probably made you stronger. But if it didn't kill you and you just survived, but you've got side effects, you've got trauma, you've got triggers, how does that make you stronger? There's still an area that needs to be healed. Ask yourself that question. What moment still has emotional power over me? Second question I want you to ask yourself: who still has access to my self-worth? Listen, kids can be cruel. I remember some of the things that were said to me as a kid, growing up. And some of them stuck for a while. And I had to get over them. I had to heal. I had to tell myself the truth over their lies. But I definitely did not give access and allow continued access to me from those people that hurt me, from those situations and circumstances that made me feel less than who I was created to be. So ask yourself, who still has access to my self-worth? Who makes me feel like I am not good enough? And that leads me into my third and final question for you. What belief still has me believing that I am not enough? Check your habits. Check the things you do. When you visualize someone else validating you because you've done it, when you're thinking in your mind, oh, they're going to say this or they're going to do this, what belief still tells you that you're not already enough? When you pause and you listen for the answers to those questions, your tether will reveal itself. Listen, I am so passionate about you getting free. I want you to be your best self. I want you to soar. And you cannot soar still tethered. It feels like you're soaring, and you may be hanging around people that may still be grounded. And to them, as they look up at where you've ascended, you might be soaring to them, but you know deep down there's more. You know that there is something, just like that rope, just like that tether. It's invisible, but it's powerful and it's strong and it is tied to something. So how do you get free? How you get free, sometimes it's somebody on the ground that has to let you free. The thing that you're tied to might have to tell you it's time to go, might have to release you, might have to apologize or make you feel good about yourself, for you to revisit things that they've said, things that they've done, for you to heal and move on. But sometimes the people that held you down, the people that said it, you can't find them or they're no longer around. So sometimes it has to be you with the scissors. You determining that what they said wasn't true. What they did wasn't my destiny. I was created for bigger than I'm living. I was created for greater. There's greatness on the inside of me. The things that they said were not true. And it is time for me to cut ties with the very thing that has tied me down. I need to replace what they said with the truth. So you've got to do that first, is acknowledge the truth without judgment. Yep, they lied to me. Yep, they treated me bad. Yep, they abused me. Yes, they cut me out of a promotion. Yes, they spoke false of me. Yes, they belittled me. It's true. Do it without judgment. And I haven't added this, but I want to add you into this equation. I want you to forgive you, because sometimes you blame you for not doing more, for not stepping up, for not stopping it. I want you to acknowledge what happened without judgment of them and without judgment of you. I want you to acknowledge the fact that it happened. But then, two, I want you to replace the lie about it. Your brain made sense of it. They said some things. You might have internalized some of it as true, but I need you to say what God says about you, because what God says about you is what's true. He is your creator. He is your maker, and he has great things to say about you. He says you're the apple of his eye. He said that he created you with gifts and purpose. You've got to replace the lie that was said to you or done to you with the truth. Sometimes telling yourself the truth is tough because you don't want to believe it, because you've believed the lie so long. And sometimes you need therapy. If it's really, really deep seated and there's trauma and hurt and pain, you may need therapy. So find you a therapist to listen and help you understand how you're thinking. And sometimes you need coaching. I've been coaching you on this call. Sometimes you need a deep dive in coaching, because we can help you see the tether, cut the tether, walk free, and walk resilient so that you can soar. And again, I'm a person of faith, so I have a spiritual covering. If you do not have a spiritual covering, I would encourage you to seek one that covers and just watches out for you, that you can share a safe space. Hey, it's time to cut the rope. Waiting around for somebody on the bottom to cut you loose does not always work. It's like you're waiting around for them to give you an apology, and then when they give it to you, it doesn't feel real. It doesn't always feel real. Let me correct that, because sometimes it is real, and sometimes it feels real, and sometimes you can get healed by that. But I don't want you to wait around. I want you to cut the rope from the lie. And if they get around to apologizing, or if they're available to help you heal, that's great. But in the meantime, cut the rope. And then this is the other thing. And for those of you who read my book, listen, when you cut the rope, now I need you to pull it up into your basket. A dangling rope can get caught on other things. You have places to go. So you need to have a resolution. You need to bring it in. You've cut the rope, but now you've got to keep telling yourself the truth so that you heal. You've got to pull that tether into the rope, wrap it up, and make sure that it doesn't snag on anything on your way up, because it's time for you to get up. Romans 12:2 says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. That means your next level isn't hustle, it's healing. Your next level is changing your mind about how you think about you, how you feel about even the things that were done to you. It does not mean that you validate what they did or that they were right in doing it. It is that you will no longer be held down by your past. You are on this path to grow, and it is your time to move forward. Why? You can't lead teams when you're triggered. You can't love fully while you're holding on to shame. Press into that. If you never healed from how you were inappropriately loved, inappropriately guided, how healthy is the love that you give your children or your friends? Do you open up? Are you vulnerable? Or do you live your life behind walls to make sure you never get hurt like that again? You can't love fully while holding on to shame. And you can't build legacy while you're dragging your brokenness behind you. I need you to look at yourself in the mirror. Look at yourself in your phone like you're taking a selfie and say, You've played small long enough. You've apologized long enough. It's time to cut the rope. I want you, if you're viewing on YouTube, I want you to type that in the comments. It's time to cut the rope. The rope will only allow you to ascend so far. It's a predetermined altitude. And until you deal with that rope, you will be stuck hovering right there. You were not meant to hover. You were not created to fake freedom or to look free. You were born to soar. But first, you've got to deal with the thing that's keeping you tethered. I feel this so strongly for you. If any part of this hit you in your spirit, hit you in your gut, made you pause, don't brush it off. It's time to move. It's time to move, and time to move now. I've created something for you, and it is, you can see it linked in the show notes. For those of you who are listening, go to my YouTube channel and look in the show notes and click on the Tether Reflection Worksheet. It's going to help you make sense of your own personal tether. I want you to hate the tether. I know hate is such a strong word, but I want you to grow to realize that it is keeping you from your best altitude, your best self. And it is time for it to go. You see in my bio, there's a link where you can book a call with me, a clarity call. Let's jump on a call and let's cut the rope together. You don't have to keep looking like you're free, but still living stuck. God has already made you free. Now it's your time to walk in it. Hey, you, I was thinking about you. And you know what I was thinking? It's time to cut the rope because it's your time. It's your time to soar.